Imagine descending onto the planet Earth as it spins, and you can land randomly in any country or territory. Based on where you land, you will have more or less power to determine your own future. Now, please let's take 5 seconds and imagine all the places that we could land. Please let's agree that there are many places that we would not want to land. You can also agree there's actually no guide, no metrics to tell you about your power to determine your own future based on where you land. Now, the possibility of such a guide is something that matters to me probably more than I realize. Please follow me on a journey to a city called Lagos in Nigeria. My mother tells of a time, before I could read, when she came to pick me up from nursery school. When she got there, I was kneeling down, facing the wall. I was being punished. The head teacher said, "Your son beat me with a cane." My mom is mortified. She comes over, "Yemi, is this true?" Apparently I was calm, and I leaned back, and I say, "Yes, Mom, she was beating other children, and I wanted her to know how it feels." My mom checks, and the head teacher confirms that she was disciplining other students, and your son came out of nowhere, grabbed the cane, and started beating me. Now, a lot has changed since nursery school. I learned how to read. I also learned I love teachers. I don't condone or support violence of any kind. I also learned that I prefer systemic change to any kind of individual heroics. But some things haven't changed. When it comes to inequality and injustice, I'm always focused on action and concrete action. Today, we live in a world that's very unequal. Some 26 individuals have as much wealth as the poorest 50% of the planet. But something else is happening. Please follow me on a journey. On the 23rd of June, 2016, I landed in London. It was the day of the Brexit vote. Now, London was apprehensive, but quietly confident. The next day, the results were out, and Britain had voted for Brexit. The reaction in London was shock. I was in a city that didn't understand how the entire country had just voted. Please follow me on this journey. On the 8th of November, 2016, I landed in Boston. This was the day of the national elections, if you remember. Now, in the USA, you don't have to wait for the next day. And so later that evening, exit polls predicted with confidence a result that Boston did not vote for. The reaction, shock here too. For me, it was déjà vu. Here I was in a city that didn't understand how the country had just voted. Now I traveled to a few more cities in the USA, and I started hearing messages that I never really noticed before. I also started following people on social media that I would not normally follow. And then it happened. I started to hear the same messages everywhere. I'm a second-class citizen. My voice doesn't matter. The people in power don't care about us. There is one voice I would love for you to hear, and I hope you can hear.
Why should I respect anybody else's vote in the future when they don't respect mine from the 23rd of June 2016? Democracy's dead. I'm not going to vote because I voted and it didn't count. I'm some sort of second-class citizen who doesn't count. It's so serious. It's more serious than Brexit. Do we have democracy in this country or not? And my understanding is, no, we don't.
All right, thank you. Now that you're listening, please let's continue the journey. You've got the messages. You hear today, or you've heard the same messages in Brazil, in Chile, that was Ecuador, Chile, France, Austria, Hungary, Sudan, Lebanon, Iraq, India, Pakistan, and many more places. The same messages. Yes, we live in a world that's very unequal, but it's more than inequality of wealth. It's also inequality of access, opportunity, jobs. Many people are saying that their sense of identity, their sense of belonging feels diminished. Now, maybe the good news is many people care about inequality and injustice today, and many people are trying to do something about it. But these people have no guide and no metrics. And so they do something. So what happens? A lot of what we see today is a result of the something they choose to do. In Sweden, 80 cars burned in one night across 3 different cities. In the USA, a newspaper publishes the home addresses of gun permit owners. Home addresses. That can't be right. But guess what? Somebody else, in revenge, publishes the home addresses of selected journalists. Home addresses. That can't be right. This problem is so big and complex that it's pushing good people to do bad things. But humanity has solved big and complex problems before. We're still solving them. But somehow, when it comes to increasing the voice and the power of people, this is the best we can do. We can do better. We can do much better. Now, I put it to you that wherever we have solved big and complex problems, knowledge, data, and metrics have made a difference. The knowledge, data, and metrics we need to empower people are actually all around us. I'm sure each person can think of something that you can change to empower people. In some cases, these metrics have been around for decades. They've been tested, tried, they're quite trusted. We just haven't put them together to answer this question. In fact, I like to think of it like Lego bricks. You can build anything with Lego. You just have to structure the bricks. Now let us build the Empowered People Index. This is how we've structured the EPI. 3 buckets. The first bucket is your empowerment to scan. I like to think of this as observe. And some of the Lego bricks in that bucket include internet access and the quality of that access. Is it filtered? Access to social media, freedom of the press. In the second bucket is your empowerment to process. I like to think of this as thinking. You've observed, and now you're reflecting. So obviously, some of the Lego bricks in that bucket, education levels, primary school enrollment rates. Crucially, you can't think when your stomach is empty, right? At least I can't. And so food and hunger statistics are in the second bucket. And as any business will tell you, you need energy to process. So electricity use. The final bucket is your empowerment to act. You've observed, you've thought about it, and now you want to take action. So, support for entrepreneurship. Can you start a business? Can you start an NGO? Most of the time, to get something done, you come together with like minds. Are you free to associate with people to get something done? The result is a composite index that gives us a score for any society of how empowered people are to determine their own future. Now, the Empowered People Index goes live this month, and I'm both humbled and proud that Geneva is the home to the EPI. I'm both humbled and proud that you're the first people on the planet to learn about it, because Geneva has a reputation well-deserved as an international city. I plan to use the EPI in my organization to determine the priorities for action, and I hope individuals, organizations, governments use it to make the world better. And I had a reminder a few days ago when a 16-year-old came up to me on the sidelines of a conference. She said to me, and I got her permission to share, that an elected official on a panel just complained about populism. The official said that this was the biggest challenge they faced, with members of parliament getting shot. The official was ready to do anything to reduce tension. But now, the 16-year-old told me that she was angry. The official had no plan, no guide. People in the world are more angry than we know. The solution is not to help them calm down. The solution is to rethink power. Change is going to come. It is inevitable. The relevant questions are, will it be peaceful? Will it happen in our time? Will we all look back and say we each did something to bring about positive change at home or in places we care about? Now, I'd like to take us back where we started. Remember? Based on where you land, you could have more or less power to determine your own future. Let me ask you, where would you like to land?